Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today I'm doing another video to add to the map creation basic series. In this video, I'll be creating a map from the ground up and turning it into something similar to our streamed events. Not only that, but I'll be showing you everything we do along the way. So this will be a probably very long video and just an all-in-one video. Now there is no script for this video aside from this intro, so it may be a little disorganized, but I'll include timestamps in the description that you can jump to. Let's begin. Go ahead and join our private server. Now we are in. I have map texture turned off. Let's see if I turn it on. Is the map going to be bugging out? Yeah. This is annoying. I don't like looking at this gray box. I'm gonna keep that turned off. But the first thing we need to do when in a private server is go straight to the console and enable or disable these settings. So make sure everything is turned off besides autocores, seed to empty countries, and override seed restrictions. The next thing we need to do is create a template map. I've already made one on this account, but basically what a template map is something you load up before you create the map itself. That way it already has the modifiers, formables, laws preloaded. That way you don't have to make them for every single map you do. You can just load it right up. Let's get that set up. I'm going to create a country and put its capital Volstock. This country is going to own the entire world. We might have to turn back on Earth textures here because this is going to get pretty dark. You know you've selected the entire world when it's 6698 cities. Yeah, and the world is black. Has the game fixed itself? It has. Perfect. While on spectator, I'm going to set the population of the world to 1, city tier 1, infrastructure 1. After doing this right here, I would save the map, name it whatever you want to, template map. I have mine named intermission. The next thing I'm going to add to the game is the resource nations. So we're going to go into create new country. I'm going to go back to that Discord server and copy that icon again. I'm going to create a resource nation for every single resource. We have this icon here to message to the player that this country is unplayable. Uranium. So now we need to find where the uranium cities are at. I prefer to use the cities that are only producing the resource that I'm making a country for, and not like this city over here that's not only making tungsten, but it's also making diamonds and copper. There they all are. Let's go back to that Discord server now and resource nations. Yeah, here they all are. I'm going to apply each one of these to the countries we just made. So if you don't know how to do this, we copy the ID right there, paste it in, boom, done. Probably just skip ahead while I do this. Finished. Now it looks nice. Now the players won't have to be looking at ice or blank flags when they're buying resources. Next up, what do we got? The modifiers. The default modifiers that you're going to be using in your maps. I have quite a bit. This is also where you would upload the modifier icons, so we need to open Studio. I have a freshly made alt account here that I'm going to be uploading all of this stuff to. Base plate. Save to Roblox. Actually, you won't see that there. Hold on a second. So to get this here, you need to open up the asset manager and then it'll show save to Roblox. You then do that. This will be showing up. You need to do the bulk import. I already have the icons. I've already saved all of the icons I use for my map. There is a website called Flaticons. So what you would search up in here for your modifiers is like airplane, boom, now you have modifiers for airplanes. I wouldn't recommend using the black icons that looks very low quality. Yeah, there's that. Let me just upload all of these. So I'm going to creations, development items. You'll see all the icons pop up here. I just gotta wait for this to finish. We're knocking the easy things out first. We're saving the hardest part for last, which is the laws. All right, there's all of the icons. Let's open up Google Slides. I use my Victorian era map as kind of my template. Now there is some stuff in here that's outdated and needs to be fixed, but I've pretty much added everything in here. And we also have the laws. We're gonna be doing these modifiers first. I was using different icons for this map, but now I'm using pixelated ones. they pop more. So I'm gonna put a star before each of the generic modifiers. We'll call this one economic rebalancing. With that treasure icon in there. And now I'm just going to be copying over the modifiers in this slideshow. Develop city cap -3. Infrastructure cost 3.5x. Sonar station. Nobody builds these anyway. They're useless. Might as well make the cost infinite just so people don't misclick and waste all their money, right? There's our economic modifier, quite easy. Next, we'll do the aerial one. Yeah, just this, pretty simple. The ground rebalancing. I use the helmet for this one. Make sure to make fortifications cost infinite. If I see any host that allows forts on their map, that's an instant red flag. I'm leaving your event. Horrible. Never allow this, ever. And then the tank manpower cost. This balances it to make it fair for infantry. I heard it from somewhere. Tanks are worth 60,000 infantry or something. So you just make it so tanks cost 60,000 manpower. It's always worked for me, so I've never changed it or really questioned it. Artillery. Yeah, I ended up splitting these just so it's easier. It's also best not to have all of your modifiers in one modifier, if you get what I'm saying. That's kind of weird. The other essential modifier is artillery attack against artillery. Always make sure this is 0x, because if somebody's artillery is able to damage their opponent's artillery, basically the first person who made artillery is going to win no matter what. So yeah, always make sure that's 0x, that way it's fair. Next up, the RNG, another essential modifier. Honestly, they're all kind of essential. This one we name RNG remover. And then the naval one. My aircraft carrier range is 0x. That way I don't have to ban aircraft carriers. I can just make them a mobile airport on the map. And then frigate range is in this slideshow, but I'm not adding this in here. Frigates are going to be the bombardment unit. Then we have the modifiers that are not in this slideshow. So in my maps, I have this thing called stage of game. It's right here. Different periods, there's different justification times. And this is the modifier I use to edit them. Oh, there's also military speed. By the way, if you're creating a map like Europe only, I would recommend making your military speed 0.8x, or any other map smaller than like Europe only, 0.8x. If it's global, you can just remove them. We're going to do -41% for the military attack and justification time. Next up is the intermission modifier. This is the modifier everybody has before the game starts. That way nobody can do anything on their countries and mess anything up. Okay, here's the intermission modifier. I rushed through the creation of it pretty quickly, but there you go. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this and apply that to the spectator country. That way there's just something there. Oh, yeah, resource nations. That's what we want next. Hold on a second. This will be the modifier that every resource nation has. Resource output, resistance, and then rebel suppression infinite, that way they don't collapse. Resistance infinite, that way no trolls take them over. And resource output infinite as well. I'm gonna go ahead and make these other modifiers ahead of time. These will be for the formables. Total government unity. These modifiers will not be applied to the countries at game start. 10 stab 5. And then we have expanded military programs. Okay. There's all the modifiers are done. Here's where you would save the game. Next is the decisions. We'll do basics. Yeah, here we are. Diamond icon. Rules. Make sure the stability requirement is infinite. I'm going to go ahead and turn these two off. Stability requirement infinite ensures nobody can form it, and it's just there. Now, this is just for my map. I don't know if you guys want to also use stage of the game as well. Not everybody can look at a slideshow, so we also put the stage of the game in there. And then I also have a warn system for my maps. Let's find it. There it is. This will be where I put the warn system so people know what will get them removed from the game. That might be a little too much decisions, but it should be all right. I can even do one more. I have another icon in here. This one could be for like the setting of the game. So I'm not even sure what the map is going to be. I'm just going to make this setting. We'll edit this later. And basically what this decision will do is a brief description of the event, what the timeline is, what it's all about, right? Decisions that can be formed. Now for the decisions that can be done. Let's go back in here. We're going to use this icon here. Total government unity. Interesting. Stability requirement 95 -9. New modifier, total government unity. This is just a formable I have on my map that will reward the player for reaching high stab. They can take it once they reach 95 stab and get that total government unity modifier that we talked about. Put a description in here too. Stability in our country has reached such a peak. The government is now totally unified. Yeah, pretty basic. Alert title. Player has chosen total government unity. Because keep in mind, every time somebody chooses one of these decisions, this is going to be applied to every nation on the map, right? It's going to pop up as an alert, so make sure you have player has chosen this. That way, easy to see. Ability in their country has reached such a peak. All right, we'll create that. And then the next one is expanded military programs. I just came up with that on the spot. It's my actual intermission map. There's a little bit more effort put into that. But all right, so that is all of the formables that we need. Save the map again. Next up is the laws. Now, I have a lot of laws on my map. It kind of makes me not even want to redo them because it's a lot. I might as well just load the intermission map and then just show you guys everything. We just show these off real quick. So on my maps, I use something called air production. Let's just go in here, actually. And let me turn up the UI scaling. There we go. So our first law in here is the banned/automatic laws. This is a divider to separate the automatic and banned laws from the laws you can actually choose if you're a player. Pretty simple to set up. Put the name in here. I made it white, which is 6 Fs. The positioning is at the bottom, so I'm looking at what is the lowest law, or what is the lowest default law in the game, which is war bonds, which is at 40. So I put banned automatic laws at 41. That way it shows up right below it. And government unity 42, 43, 44. You get the points, right? This doesn't matter for this law because, you know, you can't even select it in the first place. We would do new choice, put a dash, infinite political power. Yeah, that's all you got to do for something like that. Next up, government unity. This is a law that changes based on the stability of a nation. Hold on a second. Can I hover over this, please? Yeah, there we go. As you can see, if you have a fractured government, which is if you have less than 25 stability, you get a whole bunch of buffs, requirements, which is how you actually do it. So you need the maximum stability one and the minimum stability one in each choice you have. If you want to set it up like mine, fractured is going to be 25 max stab, 0 minimum stab. Then we move up one, divided, minimum stab 25, maximum 55, moderate 70 max, 55 min, cohesive 85 max, 70 min, unified 100 max, 85 min. Here's the modifiers for each one of them. So you can add these in here. it's pretty easy. And then make sure you make the cost infinite. I don't think it actually matters since people can't select it anyway. That's just habit for me. I make it infinite. That's that one. Next up is mobilization. Make it to where higher conscription laws, if you have one on, is more severe with the debuffs. And this is one that changes based on what law you've chosen in here and not like your stability. This is a one that changes based on which law you have activated. This is the, let me just pull this up in a notepad. I mean, I don't know how people were struggling with this because if you just hover over it, like you can see the template in the thing. But here is the template right here. Basically what you'd be using for these. Since this one relates to conscription, I'm looking for conscription. There it is, conscription. So I type in conscription here. And then I have a 5. This is because required. This is the one that activates if you're on required conscription. Let's go back to the default one. Volunteer. Yeah, here we go. This one is 2. It's the second choice in the conscription law. That's why it's 2 right there. Volunteer will activate. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? I mean, yeah. If you want to copy my laws, here you go. Disarmed. Volunteer does nothing. Limited. This is where the military starting experience starts going down. And the training speed starts slowing down as well. And then we move on to extensive. More extreme nerfs and required more extreme nerfs. So in my maps, I also ban resource sub. That way I can allow internal market income without it being overpowered. Literally the same thing, as you can see. And here is the modifiers. None's going to be nothing. Limited's 0.5x. Moderate is not 0.9. It's actually 0.2875, and then generous is 0.2x. Population growth band, same thing, man. So if some player selects encouraged, instead of getting the 2.5, it's just going to be automatically removed, and this is a banned law. The next thing, though, which is a little bit more on the confusing side, would be something such as communism nerf. The modifiers, they're easy to add. Everybody knows how to do that, right? The question I get the most is the thing with requirements. So something like communism nerf, how to make this automatic so it automatically swaps based on your ideology. As you can see, this is on none right now, right? But if I swap to socialism, guess what? It's changed automatically to socialism. So to get this set up, you need the has ideology and is not ideology requirements. To be on none, you have to have all of these ideologies. So if you're any of these ideologies, you're stuck on none. You can't move off of it. And there's also is not ideology in here that we have to add in. So if you're socialism or communism, you could not be on none. And then it changes up a little bit once we get into the actual has ideology. This is just socialism now, and is not ideology is the other ones. Communism. Guys, just look at the template. These debuffs allow fascism to compete with communism. That's what that is. This one's automatic and choosable. We'll do that one last. It's a lot. Air production. These are easy to do. The ones that are choosable, easy to do. Here are the mods that I use for each choice in the naval production. Reduces factory output, reduces naval recruitment time. Air production reduces air recruitment time, but also reduces air starting experience. Easy. This one's a little bit more complicated. So, in my maps, I make sure that non-aligned is not a good thing to stay on, because you can resistance max on it, right? And that's just not something we really want. You stay on this if you are the non-aligned ideology. And this is a similar thing to the communism nerfs. Is not ideology. All of these has ideology, non-aligned. That's how we can get people to stay on these. After you swap off, it obviously changes. It automatically goes over to traditional. I'm not sure why, maybe because the game just is the closest choice, so the game just automatically puts you on it. But yeah, there's that. And then the rest are actually easy. You just gotta make sure is not ideology, non-aligned. So if you want to copy these, sure, go ahead. Here's undefined modifiers. Pretty simple. I swap back to unaligned, it's gonna put me back on undefined. I always create 2 backups, by the way. One with a star, one with the tilde. Yeah, we've just made the template map. Okay, nice. We can start creating the map itself. Let's go. What we need to do from this point is find a reference map, or if you're making a fantasy map, you can go ahead and do that. In my previous video on this topic, worldhist.org is a website you can use, and you can go to different years, see the borders, that way you can replicate it and run. I have been using something called Fursuit Atlas. This was recommended to me by a commenter, actually. It is paid though. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend a paid atlas. Just doesn't make sense, especially when that free thing gets the job done. We're gonna go Europe only, so we're gonna click Europe Atlas on here. Let's just type in how many subscribers we have. Year 14.8. 14.89. There is no way in hell we are going to create the Roman Empire states in this one video. So you know what? I'm just going to select the entire HRE. Apparently this was a part of the HRE. Was this really an HRE? Wait, we can go to the Wikipedia page and see him. No shot this was a part of the HRE at one point. What? It existed as a principality of the HRE, but then lost its status in 1215 when Pope proclaimed it directly subject to the Holy See. Wow, it's crazy how much power the Pope has. It just existed as a principality of the HRE, then the Pope comes in and is like, all right, you're ours now. Okay, yeah, we're making a map here, not doing a history lesson, right? All right. And I love this. I love Fursuit Atlas too, because it has all of the flags on it too. It's amazing. So I can just go directly in here. Boom. Flag saved, easy. Oh, right. We want to create a new folder for this. We want to be saving these flags into that folder. There won't be much countries. This is just a demonstration anyway. It's not like I have to go crazy on the map here. Personal Union of Aragon and Castile. Do they have a flag? Or was it just a coat of arms? Yeah, I don't think they did. Okay, we'll just use this one. Emirate of Granada. Oh no, I don't think they have a flag, do they? That'll work, I think. You know what? We'll add in Scotland as well. Sure. Who's the ruler of the HRE during this time? Does it say that for us? Other events. What if we turn that on? Is there anything going on in the world? Other events. What's going on over here? The descendants of Guy of Lusignan ended their rule of Cyprus. Okay. Maximilian the First. What dynasty did he belong to? Of course, it's the Habsburg dynasty, right? I mean, no surprise there, eh? Habsburg domains. Yeah, do they have a flag? Let's see. Maybe the Italian one has a flag on it, eh? Let's see. Ooh, I think that might be it. Yeah, we'll just use this one, sure. So the next thing we do after getting our flags, you can either upload them to Roblox, like we saw with the bulk imports option, or you can edit them first. Of course, I've already shown off this software before, X and Convert. I'm gonna put in all the flags. There we are. I already have some presets for these. Yeah, we'll just use a default preset, sure. Clean metadata, I just have that there. Black, white points. Makes the flag more vibrant, I want to say. There's a watermark here. I got this on Unsplash. Let's see if I can find again what I searched up, basically. Let's do fabric texture. Yeah, one of these is definitely what I used. I put it in there as a watermark. These are the settings, and then resize. Oh, crap. Oh, no. Here are the resize settings. These are the most important to get your flag in that 3:2 aspect ratio. Make sure you copy this resize. Now, the output of these are going to be in another folder inside the folder we just created. Video. They're all going to go into that folder. Check it out. All of the flags. I wouldn't be surprised if the French flag got the Alticount band. We're about to find out, I guess. So far, the flag of Andorra is the only thing to get past. I guess while we're waiting, yeah, we don't really have anything else to do, to be honest. I could go ahead and put the rules in. Yeah, that looks pretty much good. Should be able to just copy and paste this. That should be good. And then stage of game. Let's say this one's gonna start in year 1. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, now it's time for the actual map. One thing we can do is we can go in here and we can use a ranking system. So there's a star ranking system and there's also the Roman numeral ranking system. 3 being the strongest, 2 being like mid-tier, and then 1 being the weakest. Stars, self-explanatory, 3 strongest, 2 mid, 1 weakest. Yeah, you don't have to use these. I'm just gonna do the star ranking system, sure. Let's go back to Pursue Atlas. Kingdom of France is it called? I'm gonna assume the Kingdom of France was an absolute beast during this time, so we're gonna give them 3 stars. You can either do it before or after. It is actually better to do it before. HSV Color Picker Dev. This is the website that I use now. It's different from the one I listed in earlier videos, but basically what I do is go to the HSV, set this to 5580. And then I'm gonna look at the map I'm using. Obviously, you can use your own colors, but I kind of like to use the colors on the map that I'm using as a reference. Purple for France, I like it. If you get this warning, Demonym already exists, add a space, or what you can go to is Cyrillic alphabet. I just butchered that, and they have letters in here that look the same as in English, so we could probably use the E. Yeah, we can use the E, and then paste that there. We don't have to add a space, and it looks the same, right? Boom, created successfully. Ron Tile's messing us up here, for sure. Background setting, I'm gonna do transparent background. I need reference borders, here we go. Yeah, Ron Tiles is not optimal for this timeline, clearly. Okay, we'll do the Duchy of Brittany next. I'm gonna go back to the Cyrillic alphabet and see if there is something in here. Oh, I think the O. Yeah, I can use the O. This is a subject state, so I would normally make it the same color as the Overlord, or we can use like a lighter version. Let's go 45 on that. Can barely see it. It's noticeable though if you're looking close enough. Spain, I'm gonna guess they'd be a 3-star country. The 2 kingdoms remained legally separated, but from this moment factually acted as one country. The 2 kingdoms were legally merged by Philip V in 1715. So maybe it would be more accurate to call this the Union of Aragon and Castile instead of like the Kingdom of Spain. This, we have a more yellow type of color. The bigger guy was Castile, I'm pretty sure. Capital of Castile. Let's look this up. Madrid in 1489. Valladolid. Where's this at? Right there. Yeah. Looks like Spain also controlled this. Oh, that's the wrong Spain. I don't think we had Africa, did we? Nah. Granada is blue. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do Portugal, knock them out. Portugal's probably a mid-tier country. Yeah, it's actually much easier just to add a space instead of going to that Cyrillic thing. But if you don't want, because sometimes it can look weird in war screens, I guess if you want your map to be just a little bit higher quality, you would use the Cyrillic alphabet. It's so much easier to just add a space, and it really doesn't take away that much, to be honest. See, the capital probably would have been this. Pamplona, yeah. That just makes sense. Let's see. We're going up into France a little bit. Yeah, the Ron tiles just aren't really allowing this, are they? Yeah, we'll make Navarre 1 tile, and we'll make the Puppet State 1 tile as well. England, Scotland, HRE left. Oh, did I make them 1 star? Oops. In that case, we need to go back in here and delete them. They were probably a 3-star country. I'm gonna have to guess. Scotland's probably a 2-star. Ooh, time for the lovely HRE, the final country. We gotta make them a scary looking red. The only red color on the map. Let's make it a little bit more vibrant too. Pope, you're getting forced into the HRE, whether you were in it or not historically. It's pretty much the HRE, I think. That looks pretty good. We have a couple more things to do in here. Next up will be the modifiers. We're gonna go ahead and apply those generic modifiers to everybody on the map now. play France just to check everything's here. Oh, and then the Formables as well. Finish with the generic content. So we got the military programs and the... Oh, wait, hold on. Wasn't there one more? Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't have the setting formable on this map. But yeah, you'd also add that as well. Next up is the population. I've actually designed a spreadsheet just for the population. So I put in the numerical value here. I'm gonna let's do 15 million for the majors. Oh, and then here's this as well. So this will be the strategic hubs. How many strategic hubs the country has. It'll adjust that center number to be the strat hubs. And then this number is the rest of the cities. So if they have 200 cities, it'll adjust that number. A1 divided by 3, C1 divided by B1, C1 divided by B2. That's what we're gonna be doing. This is capital, strat hub, every other city. Would recommend a spreadsheet over a calculator. Always. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. You know what? We're going to give the HRE 20 million. We're going to make them pretty strong, eh? For these middle powers, I'll give them 6.5 million. I used the English flag for Scotland. Holy, no shot. I just realized that now. There we go. That's been fixed. I was like, am I playing England? Why am I playing England right now? Oh, it's Scotland, just with the English flag. Yeah, that makes sense now. That's the tier 2s out of the way, and next up will be... And then the microstates on the map, I'm just gonna give them 200,000. Well, that's all of the populations done. Pretty easy. Okay, we gotta go back to the modifiers and do the resource nation modifiers. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove all of these and then add in the resource nation modifier for this guy. And we're gonna be doing this to every single one. The other thing I want to recommend is making a XP requirement for the resource nations, make them unplayable. We're gonna do 1 billion XP. I don't think anybody has anything else we need to do. I'm thinking here. Well, if you haven't already, make sure to save your map. There you go. Flavor. Oh yeah, the next thing is flavor. This I'm gonna leave up to you guys to do, because a big part of map creation in Rise of Nations is creativity. And what I mean by flavor is, let's say this is a World War II map. You would have Germany. You would give them a decision that requires Austria, and it would give them certain buffs, maybe for a limited time. That's the type of flavor that I'm talking about. Okay, I had to reset. The next thing we're going to talk about is actually hosting the map. So, before I load the map, I would do the server settings first. So in my maps, I have events turned off, population changed off, scorching off, allow releasing countries, that's off, and then stage of the game, this is going to be off at the start, but it'll be enabled when we enter the mid-game. Semi-improved AI behavior, you can keep that on or off. I turned mine off. That's our server settings. Now we load up the map. And the next thing you do, I've actually already added the intermission. I had to cut the video a bit, but only after you've added all of the flavor do you add the intermission to the country. So make sure it's the last thing you do in your map is add the intermission. Also reset balance to 0. Next thing we need to do is the starting resources. My starting resources are 51 stab. It's just habit for me, but I like to make sure everybody's war exhaustion is at 0. Don't know why it'd be above that, but just go ahead and have that there. Make sure everybody's corruption's at 0 as well. Political power, I do 100, 400 RP. There's no military power on this map anyway. Balance will be 100 million starting, and manpower reserves will start maxed out. So we just have that there for when we want to start the game. And now what we do is host the map. So you give it a cool name, 1489 Western Europe. I mean, be creative with it. Come on now. I'm kind of just rushing this. Description, put your own description. Server size, this can only fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players. So we're going to be spectating as the host, right? So we make that 10. Show up in public lobby, save changes. Boom, now you're popping up. Oh yeah, you can put your rules right here. I forgot about that. So you don't actually need the decision because you can just put the rule right here. Let's say there's people joining now, right? There's people playing the countries. Intermission modifier still on. They cannot do anything. We're just waiting for the lobby to be filled, right? But let's say the lobby's now filled. We're ready to start. Make sure you set the year to whatever your timeline is. We're just gonna be 0. Actually, hold on a second. To make this more organized, we're gonna make it year -0. So the year before your game actually starts. In the stage of the game that we did, we made the game start in year 0. So I'm gonna set it back 1 year, and then I'm gonna start the game when it hits January of that year. So let's just say that next month is January year 0. We're waiting for it to happen. Yada yada yada. Now once it hits January, I'm going to remove the intermission. I'm gonna wait maybe a couple ticks or 1 full tick because the game has a problem here in regards to assigning the stability when you set it. Now we're gonna set the stability and set all of the starting resources that we had. Now the game has officially started. Players will be playing if you're using the stage of the game modifier. We're in the preparation stage right now. Justification time is infinite. Nobody can attack each other. Let's say next month is the early game. Or let's say October 20th is the early game. What I would do from this point is set this to 300% and then click update modifier. Once it gets to the next stage of the game, boom. Now let's say next month is the mid game, which is -25. Update, boom, easy. Now you are ready to become a high quality host. I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching.